Go.
We are at the movies with Matt and Ryan.
Why are you laughing?
Take
What
two.
the fuck's so funny?
Because, I don't know, you're messing up the recording. It's fine.
Oh, great.
Alright, we're reviewing Silence, the new Martin Scorsese film.
The new Martin Scorsese film. It's called Mark Rylance.
That was awful.
That was great. Best actor ever. So, Silence. Today's review, the Martin Scorsese film. He directed and co-wrote it. He's been trying to make it since 1990, actually.
So he didn't.
I know a fun fact. But, yeah. So, the movie follows two priests. I forget their names. Let's look at them. Rodriguez and Garupe? Garupe. Played by Andrew Garfield and Adam Driver.
And Father Ferreira.
They traveled to Japan to find their mentor, Father Ferreira, played by Liam Neeson, and also to spread the mission of Catholicism to the Japanese people. But in Japan, Christianity has been outlawed by the government, so it's a pretty dangerous mission to try to attempt.
Yeah. This seems to be... I've only seen 2 Scorsese films.
Two?
This and Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh.
And Wolf of Wall Street is probably one of his worst, from what I've heard.
I don't think it's one of his worst. I think some people love it. I think
a lot of people do love it.
Yeah, it's 3 hours long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ashley,
Yeah.
why don't you come over and... Come on. Oh. We have my best friend
Scorsese
here.
is a director that seems to push boundaries.
Yeah.
It seems
So
like.
Yeah, this is an examination.
Goodfellas.
What am I saying? Examination of religion. Ryan, you want to start with your thoughts of Silence?
Yeah.
Of Rylance?
Of Rylance. It was really, really good for 2 hours and 40 minutes. I think you said this before, Matt. We need directors like him who continue to find their passion. I know he's been trying to make this since 1990, but it seems like this was his passion. He didn't care what people thought of it. I feel like. I mean, he's at that point in his career where he's one of the greatest ever, so he's not going to. And that's probably why. I mean, the producers didn't advertise it at all. No one will probably know about it unless you're a film fan, I feel like.
The problem was Martin Scorsese takes so long to edit his fucking movies that they end up either getting delayed or the studio it delays the marketing for his movies. No, which is good
for him. It makes a better quality movie if you're.
I know, but he takes too much time. Like Wolf of Wall Street was originally supposed to release in November, and then they had to push it all the way back to December. In this movie, they kind of just were like, okay, we'll put it limited last week of December, and then it'll go wide in, what was it? Oh, January, whatever, 13th, 20th. But, yeah, Trent just walked in.
Hey, everyone. Shout out to all my fans. Follow me on Twitter.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Just kidding. Don't follow me on Twitter.
And you guys can follow them. But, yeah, this movie, they literally gave it no attempt at marketing, so it kind of just... It got completely destroyed at the box office.
But it was great. There was no score whatsoever, which was, I think that was the best part of the movie. Because it made it more, like, I know it's set in the 1630s or whatever, it's going to sound weird, but it was kind of like, it was realistic.
It was a complicated gangster movie, right?
Shut up.
Layers and layers.
But, no.
There's a lot of layers.
This is one of my favorite movies of 2016. It'd actually be in my top 5, to tell you the truth.
It was.
It's a great. Scorsese's one of the few people who can make a movie super long and make it consistently interesting and engaging. And this movie felt very engaging throughout.
Yeah.
And I think his approach to the material is very intelligent. It's really like I said, an examination of faith. See you, Trent. Come back in a minute or two. We'll talk food, but it's not only an examination of faith, but just purpose and kind of egoism and martyrdom. There's so many themes to it, and I love Scorsese's direction, which is fantastic because it's the movie's constantly asking these big questions, and there's really no easy answer to them, and the narrative flows very seamlessly throughout. And I really think his approach to violence was great. There's a real. It's a quick sense of brutality. It's brutal, but there's no style to it. There's no purpose to it, and I think that was kind of the point. It was
some brutal violence too. I think he even made more emotional without the score. Like there wasn't any huge music, sad music in the background.
Well, there's some score, but it's,
but it's
infrequent.
Not, yeah, it's very limited, and like the scenes where there's like crashing waves on people, and it's just very like it's almost like more saddening.
Yeah,
it is more saddening without the dramatic.
But
score.
Andrew Garfield is the star here. I just burped.
That was gross.
But I just had ginger up. That was the issue. Andrew Garfield's the star, and I like how Scorsese didn't make this the kind of character you thought it'd be, like the lead, kind of the good priest.
Yeah.
He's this character who's caught up in his own ego, in his own sense of finding purpose as a missionary, and I think the way Scorsese examines people's relationship with religion is very interesting. We see it from the priest perspective of this is their life, and they're trying to find some sense of meaning into that life. And like a lot of characters talk about how the character or Rodriguez's characters, his trials and tribulations are like he views himself as like Jesus, like going through, like you get that sense of egoism in the character. And then the Japanese people who are kind of holding on to the idea of the afterlife, where there's better life, and finding purpose throughout their lives, and in some cases their death, through religion. And I just think it was a really interesting and thoughtful kind of examination. I think that's what really gripped me from start to finish. And obviously Scorsese's direction. Yeah. And the great performances. I mean, I'm probably going to fuck up these names, but Tadanobu Asano, Isai Ogata, and I don't know, I'm going to fuck up all the names. But every actor Scorsese used was fantastic. Same with Adam Driver and Liam Neeson, who are used very sparingly. But I fucking loved this movie.
It was great. Yeah, there's a ton of questions you ask, like how far would you go with your faith before you hurt someone else? It's like questions that I think like even can be related to today. I think because people question faith.
Religion is a worldly thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like even though it was set in this time period that we can't directly relate to, it's still like it's. But
no,
it's still pretty impactful.
I think Scorsese, he's a devout Catholic, but I think he's able to kind of distance what he thinks about religion and capture more of a unique perspective, kind of a sense of doubt, stuff like that. And I like that. The movie was very impartial. It didn't really have a specific like voice as far as religion went. It just kind of showed you the events and let them progress how they progressed. But I think this movie, it's definitely not for all audiences. I think it definitely requires some patience. Yeah. But I think a lot of people will dig this, and I think it's great that people are making movies like this. I mean, Martin Scorsese is probably one of the few guys who could make a movie like this. This 3-hour long.
Tarantino, maybe.
No, Tarantino would never make this movie.
I know. I'm just saying, like a movie.
Only Scorsese has the carte blanche to really make something like this. But we'll get into ratings. What would you give it?
9 out of 10.
I'll go 9.5. Personally, I think it was near perfect movie. I loved it.
What do you think of Driver's character? I thought he could have been like in the movie more.
I think it's fine. He's used sparingly enough. He's used to try to create some arguments between him and Garfield. He's used almost as like a comparison of sorts, like the differences between Garfield's character as a mission or a priest and Gurupe. He was less extreme and like devoted. He was more of a person.
There's a scene in the movie.
Yeah, so that I think his character served a good purpose. Same with Liam Neeson. I mean, even though they're not in it much, they have a defined role in the movie. So I didn't have an issue with that.
Okay. Yeah.
But we love Silence. We hope you check it out. That was our review. Comment, like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon.